I know, that's right.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi. Good, thank you. Hi.
Thanks for coming along. Look, it's really exciting. Just want to formally announce that Michelle Dekker will be the new Adelaide Thunderbirds head coach, signing a 2-year contract this morning. It's an exciting opportunity for us to build on the success that we've had over the last 8 years in the ANZ Championships, and the selection panel was very impressed with Michelle's knowledge of the whole high performance environment, her tactical and technical expertise. Excuse me. And I have no doubt that she will build on the success that we've had at the ANZ Championships at the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
Thanks, Ben.
Michelle, what attracted you to this job?
Oh, what attracted me? Well, I'm born and bred in South Australia, having played nearly all of my netball career for South Australia and starting as a player. This is home. It's something that I always wanted to do. It's an ambition to coach the best netball club in what I believe Australia. So when the opportunity came that Jane resigned earlier in the year, look, I was absolutely excited and of course applied and honoured to sit here today.
Were you instantly excited, or did you have to think about it for a little
Oh no, I don't have to think about it. Anytime you head coach the Thunderbirds is a privilege, and Jane set a great dynasty over the last 8 years, and for me to be able to build on that success is paramount to me, and of course bringing back success to South Australian netball in the ANZ Championships.
Speak about bringing back success. It's been probably a difficult couple of years here. What needs to change, do you think, to turn the side around?
Sure. Oh look, I think it's just a tweak. What I'm really positive about is the performance that came from the Thunderbirds on the weekend. There's not a lot to do. The Thunderbirds have success in their sights, and yeah, there'll be some tweaks, and that might be what we do off court, which may flow over to the on court. But what my preference is right now is to meet the players. Just having signed the contract this morning, my number one thing is to meet the players and have some time with them and just build the relationships that I need to make that happen.
Do you know many or any of them?
Yeah, I know all of them. Luckily, I've got the privilege of having worked with Netball Australia and the Diamonds program for 4 years. So most of those athletes have either been involved in the Diamonds program or in the underpinning programs that are related to Netball Australia. So I've had a lot of history with the players. Now it's working as a unit here in South Australia and really putting a focus on what does the unit look like and the support team that surround that unit and how successful that can be in a high performance world.
How do you see the makeup of the current list? Is there anyone you want to bring in to improve the team?
Yeah, look, I'm going to take a little bit of time with that. We have until 24 hours after the grand final for open recruitment period. What's important is that I have time to actually sit down with the players and find out what works for them, what's worked for them, and what can I bring or what can our support services bring to them to actually just tweak their performances. So look, I'm not making any major upheavals in the team. There may be some changes, and that automatically happens in an ANZ franchise anyway. But more importantly, just making sure that we have a look at what we can bring that's new and creative in this space.
How do you make the most of Jane before she leaves?
Sure. I'm really fortunate that Jane has an ongoing contract as high performance manager here for a little while, and we have a full debrief on Friday to transition the athletes from her knowledge over the past 8 years. That's a part of high performance sport now, is making sure we as high performance coaches transition athletes in programs. So we'll do a full debrief, and what does that look like moving forward? I'll put my own twist on that as head coach. But really privileged to have Jane's expertise here, and we'll use those over the coming weeks.
How's your role with the national side, do you think, going to help you step into this job with the Terrorists?
Yeah, well, I think you've seen significant changes in the Diamonds from a culture perspective over the past 3 or 4 years. 4 years ago, we were losing quite a few matches internationally, and we've had a really good look about what that looks like as a team off court and how that transfers on court. So I think my experience is knowing what does that culture need to look like off the court, and that's something we'll have a really good look at. But my expertise are in all facets of high performance preparation, and we'll have a look at their strength and conditioning, their physical conditioning, what does it look like to be a high professional athlete in this system. So that's the experience I'll bring, as well as a really solid technical background, of course, from playing and coaching.
So you're going to stay on with the Diamonds until after the World Cup.
Yeah.
How are you going to sort of manage to juggle the roles? Obviously, this is an important time of year in terms of recruiting and that sort of thing. How are you going to make those two roles mesh?
And I think, look, since we've started our discussions over the weekend, that's been the paramount discussion between Netball Australia and Netball South Australia. And I'd have to acknowledge at this stage that what a wonderful transition that's been for me. I was currently full-time employed with Netball Australia, So there were lots of negotiations, and I'd like to acknowledge Ben's leadership in that role with working with Andrew and Kate at Netball Australia to make sure that I could stay with the Diamonds. So it's a number one priority for me to see the Diamonds win a World Cup with Lisa Alexander, and I've been really privileged that we've been able to negotiate what that looks like. So I'll just take a little bit of a back step in relationship to making sure that I'm away with the Diamonds, but that working concurrently with the Thunderbirds. So yeah, it's been a really good progression into that space.
Would you like to coach the Diamonds someday?
I think any high performance coach would one day want to coach the Diamonds. I always talk about timing. I'm not ready to do that yet. I have a young family and also would love to be able to make sure that I have some successes here at the Thunderbirds. And down the track at some point, possibly.
Ben, what was it about Michelle that, was she the standout candidate when it came to
Yeah, look, we had a great selection discussion around it and a talented pool to choose from. Probably, she's a passionate South Australian, understands the high performance environment as a holistic approach to preparing the athletes, athlete focused, and has had experience at coaching and playing at the highest level. So absolutely, she was a standout candidate of an extensive pool.
Thanks, Ben.
I'm not sure
I have to say that.
Thanks, Ben.
To depend on Michelle, but Dan Ryan was obviously one of the rivals for the position. Will he stay on?
Look, we'll work through those conversations after. Focus today is appointing Michelle. Michelle will meet with all the players and then the support staff flowing from that. So obviously she's got World Cup commitments, but her focus over the next 3 weeks is to meeting and talking to all the players and then the support staff. So we'll work through those conversations, in the coming weeks.
Is Dan under contract still?
Dan's under contract till the end of the season.
So you appoint your own, Michelle?
Yes, I will. Yeah. So of course those discussions are currently happening. The signing happened this morning. So look, I'm sure over the next 4 to 6 weeks, those positions will be released.
And Ben, in terms of the playing group, how many of them are on contract for next season?
Sure. Yeah. Currently 3 players are contracted for next season. I've met with all of the contracted and non-contracted players over the last 2 or 3 weeks to have discussions. Obviously, we wanted to secure the coach, being very respectful, and this is why we didn't do it till after the last game, of Jane and the team finishing, and what a fantastic win to send Jane and Lee Waddington off on the weekend. We've had those initial conversations, and Michelle will now speak to the entire playing group. Obviously, Lee's made the decision to retire, and then once those initial conversations have happened, then I'll meet with all of the players to progress that. But we, from Netball SA's perspective, we want to keep the core group. There will be some changes that happens every year in an ANZ Championship franchise. So once Michelle's had those conversations, we'll try to secure the players as soon as possible. As Michelle mentioned, after the grand final, 24 hours after the grand final, then players can talk. I can talk to other players, and players that aren't contracted to us can speak to other clubs. So we're very keen to have those conversations as quickly as possible, so that we can secure the talent that moving forward. And every indication from the players has been really positive. They just need to have a chat to the coach.
Who are those 3 that are on contract?
Emily Beaton, Kate Shimon and Maddie Proud are contracted for 2016, and the rest are out of contract, which is not unusual in franchise from year to year. So we'll focus on those conversations, and I look forward to securing those key players in the coming weeks.
How long have you been in discussions with Michelle about taking over the job here?
Look, we were respectful of the last game, so we had an initial conversation, and that's happened in the last 2 days. So as Michelle mentioned, she signed her contract today. So the position was ratified by the board last Thursday night.
Obviously not making finals this year is a bit disappointing, Michelle, but what do you see as the on-court sort of areas that need to improve?
Well, consistency. I thought the Thunderbirds had a fairly slow start this year, and I think just consistency of performance. I've watched every game for the Thunderbirds, as I have with all of the games of the ANZ Championship, and that's been a focal point. I think also just being able to make sure that we give our goalers enough opportunity, so more turnover ball from our defensive unit. And when I talk defensive unit, that's not defenders, that's for me all 7 in their defensive role. I think that was a true indication of what happened on Sunday, was the amount of turnover ball, for an opportunity for Carla and Erin up in that forward line. So that's something we'll be addressing, and it's like I said, it's those little tweaks. It's just those little tweaks on court to make sure we're operating as a unit rather than individually.
It won't be tough love then, Michelle?
No, it won't be tough love. It'll be fair love, not tough love.
You mentioned, Michelle, that you think you consider the T-Birds as the best club in this ANZ comp. Why is that?
I consider it has been, and I consider that there is movement to a more high-performance, holistic approach here. That's not to say it hasn't been there, but of course every new coach will bring her own twist to what that looks like. And I don't want to compare what I'll bring to Jane. I've been absolutely privileged to have had Jane working in this space and being able to have that great handover. I'll do things a little bit differently. We might look at leadership a little bit differently in our group. We'll take our own spin on what the culture will look like. And I'm positive that those changes will bring a positive effect on court.
Do you have any little trademarks like the bird cage or anything like that?
No, I've got to learn them. When I come here and people talk about the bird cage, yeah, I've been operating, of course, for Netball Australia for many years now, and you're going to have to bring me up with the lingo. Is it the language or whatever you use for Thunderbirds? So, look, I'm just really proud to be in pink, and it's going to take me a little while to of course, transition.
Do you feel a fair bit of pressure coming to the job, especially given the side sort of hasn't had some of the success that it's been accustomed to over the past 2 seasons?
Oh, look, any high-performance coach, whether it be in an AFL code or a netball code, always feels pressure as a high-performance coach. That's part of our job. But we thrive on that. I never look at it as pressure. It's an opportunity. And I am thoroughly energetic about being put under that pressure, because that's what makes us perform. And look, we need some resilience, and we talk to the players all the time about what does resilience look like and being able to step up week to week. So it'll be something we're addressing, but no, I'm not at all frightened about having the experience. I'm actually really excited about it.